the first one. This is really, again, it's not really for me. So JT and I, let me preface it this way, right, JT? When you're head coach, and I've been a head coach for a long time, 17 years, I was a head coach, and most of it I was always on the defensive side. But one thing I had to learn as a head coach was more than just being a defensive back like I would play most of the time. Typically, when we have our skill positions, you know what wide receivers are doing, maybe what the linebackers are doing or the running backs, but you really got to dive into what's the offensive line and defensive line are doing when you're head coach in your skill position. So I spend a lot of time in film rooms, clinics, and stuff, really learning about what they do up front. So that's why I tend to try to bring as much as I can to the linemen because I've studied so much as well. Right. So when I was watching this film, this clip, go ahead and go to the back end for me real fast. I wanted to highlight number 71. He's their left tackle, right? That he's pretty stinking good. Ernest is his first name. So when we were talking about some of our woes, when you got a pass rush coming up, you can let it go. He actually take his kick slide, get into those guys. And remember when we were seeing people go underneath our tackles? That doesn't happen. This is that power down we were talking about. Did you see that slight little thing there? So he gets back, gets engaged. When the guy tries to go inside, he powers back down so he can't get inside of him. Now, that creates a lot of time for Carson Beck to be able to find a wide receiver. So
now and I meant to kind of give a little bit of a scouting report before we actually jumped into the film. So I'll do that right now. Since we're talking about the O-line, there was a breakdown that I was able to kind of count on, like how many, where do they run the ball? And it's very clear which side of the line is better than the other side. Not that one side is bad, but there was one side that Georgia and their coaching staff clearly think is the better side. And that's over here because 60% of all of their run plays this year have gone to the left of the center. Most of them have actually gone off tackle this way. And then the next kind of closer and closer this way. And I mean, 40% still go to the right. So it's not like they never run to the right side. But the point of that is they really love the left side. They think the left side is their best side, and they are grading much better in pass pro than they are running the ball. So Michael Kim, as he just had a comment here, we need to get to Beck. That's a tall task. These 5 dudes up here,
they're good, boss.
They pass pro up with the best of the country. They are not letting people. They're the bouncers. You know, they're kicking people out the club quite often, and really I think this is why people don't actually blitz them that often.
Too much pressure on them. Yeah, it ends up with too much time.
Right. However, though, Carson Beck under pressure and Carson Beck under blitz is a whole different dude. He is much worse when people are in his face. He's much worse when blitzes are coming. So yes, Michael Kim, you are right. We do need to get to Beck. I'm just saying it's a lot easier said than done with these 5 up here.
I want to show you how he misses some of those when he has a little bit of pressure. What some guys that are wide open, as a matter of fact. So that was really my main take on that play.
Yeah, because I mean, even with this, it's the same play here. Just how much time he has. This is, for instance, this is an 18-second clip. Just in case you didn't know, ball is snapped at, we'll say 6.5 seconds, and it's thrown at 11 seconds. So he stood there for a good 5 seconds, and he still really didn't even have any pressure. I don't really know why he escaped that way, but yeah, he didn't. There's nobody in his face for a good 5 seconds there. And then the end of this play, I like this one too, just because how much space the back has here catching the football, which means not only do we have to rally, but we also have to get the guy on the ground. So we talked about tackling before, and we're gonna have to do that. This is a lot of grass to have to cover, and when we get there, we got to get him on the ground. We can't be missing, letting him break a couple of tackles, because that'll be devastating all game.
Yep. You're right. So this next one, I think another pass, and I was really wanting to harp on. So this is a slot receiver. I was saying he's not. I mean, he ends up being the number 2 guy. He's running down the field wide open. Now he missed him, but this is kind of what JT's saying. Once you start getting a little bit of pressure, and I don't know why he rolled to the right and got out of the pocket.
And it really seems like it doesn't have to be much. Like, I'm not saying you got to be hitting the dude. It kind of seems like he sometimes will see ghosts, I suppose. I mean, this big dude's not a ghost, but they're 4 yards apart, right? And he's changing direction's not very good by this.
He's open right now. I mean, when we get to the back end.
Yeah. Yeah. Right now, this ball should be leaving.
Yes. Now, it's another thing that we always talk about that we got to be better about is those wheel routes. They did switch these off last week. At the top, where the guy goes up, I guess you don't even call it a wheel. It's probably just a switch route. But that guy climbing up, and you got your corner trying to cover both of those guys because there's nobody in the middle of the field. But when you look at the back end, it's kind of a cool angle for you to see that Beck just missed him. He had him. He's looking at him. He sees him right now. He just needs to set his feet and just throw it. And he just missed. So we need to have some of those misses too, because that could be a huge play if he gets him. So to me, it's going to be how well we play on those slot receivers like that, and who do we have chasing them. Okay, this is the next one.
Yep. Yeah, so I put this one in here. This was another hot pressure, right? So they're sending 6 here, right? So in the back end, they're playing eyes technique, and what I call eyes technique. So the safeties are sitting kind of flat, because the idea behind these hot pressures are the ball is going to have to come out quick, right? So this is not ideal because he's sitting flat. The ball doesn't actually come out quick because they're not getting pressure as quick as they thought, and you get this seam running right past the safety.
That scares me, man. I mean, just what we've seen in some of the other games. I don't, because you don't have any pressure. And if we're like you said, pattern matching, and we're late turning or something.
So to me, this is not actually. I highlighted the safety, but to me, this is not actually the safety's fault. This is the corner's fault, because I'm pretty sure. Again, I don't know. It's not like I have Kentucky's playbook, but these guys are both kind of doing the same thing. And we've got a pole runner here. We've got a wall 2 guy. This guy's sitting in this hole. This guy's sitting in this hole. And these 2 are responsible for getting back. And at least how I teach our guys is to look at the eyes of the quarterback, right? So he's clearly looking this direction. So you know that you are the guy in conflict. But
get back.
Not only do you need to get back, but you need to lean on number 2. Why do you need to lean on number 2? Well, for all my math guys, yes, this is a shorter throw. He's got to put air under this to get here. You can work this way and then speed turn and get back to the other one. But if you're just going to hang out here like he does over number 1 and then just
no, you got to try to go get to him.
Right. No, that's not okay. The ball is going to get here quicker. If we just switch places, if you moved over here first and you made him throw this ball, we're talking about a different story because he's getting hit now, right? Yep. He's getting hit. Even if this is a comeback, trying to throw this on time in the right spot while getting hit in the face is much more difficult than throwing this to grass.
Yeah, you can just let it fly. Just let it get in the air and make it run away from because there's nobody back there either. So I don't know. We're gonna have to be conscious. I mean, the other slot was kind of
Oh, and then and
wide
then
open there. It
then he
just
gets over there and takes a bad angle, and then not only does he not cover the right guy, then he lets Six get outside and just not great.
we got to be prepared for this. And so you get the angle when we're talking about these linemen. So if you can see them kind of passing off and switching, the left tackle, you can see them communicating and passing. It's a little late on their 3-man twist over here. I love this stunt, by the way. When I got my eyes, that guy totally destroys Carson. Good Lord. Um,
Yeah, I call this
yeah.
one. I call this Supersonics X, and it's great because 17's actually stepping up here, taking another man, right? So this is that's great. I like
Yep.
that.
All right, slot guys. That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm gonna be looking for all game while we're sitting up in the stands. I gotta be looking at slots. Okay. Let's see. What's the next one here?
This is a pass.
Wheeling
Gain
her
of
out.
20.
Do you see how fast these slot guys are? I'm just looking. He's not the slot again. He's the outside guy with the cut split.
Yeah. That's scary kind of speed.
Yeah, but the main thing that I wanted to see here is one again. Look at the pocket. He has a lot of time. Nobody's in his face. Nobody around his feet. JT and I have already talked about that. They're good up there. But this is a tight window throw. He took a shot on this. This safety made a pretty good break on the play. But that break right there to go get in there, that's a confident throw by Beck. So you're gonna have to, yeah. Saab does close very fast. I agree, but you got to get the ball out. In this case, I mean, he's looking around at what. I mean, that's a damn
Yeah,
good
it's
throw,
on a
man.
rope too. I mean, that's an NFL level throw, ain't it?
Yes, it is. Yes, it is. Great catch. I mean, that's a, jeez. So, I mean, for anybody to think it's just going to be a cakewalk with these guys, I wouldn't go that far.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, we can say all the things of I think I've seen in the chat the receivers don't scare us. They don't have their tight ends are not as good as they were last year. Their defense is slightly worse. My thoughts on this is a very efficient football team. Like they might not be flashy, they might not be. And that's actually kind of what scares me a little bit about Alabama is how efficient Alabama actually is. It's kind of like the basketball. To me, it's kind of like basketball in the three balls. You live by the three, you die by the three. When it's not falling, when them long shots are not falling, it makes for a long night. Georgia has been very good at limiting plays over 20 yards. I think they didn't have any technicality. It got to 19 yards. I mean, you got to draw the line somewhere, right? But this team, they're efficient. They're clearly well coached. I think it's going to come down to who makes the most mistakes, right? I mean, most of the time it does, but like I think mistakes made are going to be at higher magnitude, right? You're not going to be able to have 12 penalties for 125 yards and
Oh, I
expect
was
to win
about to
this
say,
football
cut
game.
out the penalties. You can't put yourself behind the chains. Losing yards, offsides, post penalty, post play penalties, anything that's going to make you go backwards. It's
Oh,
not
and
great.
and you can't have three linemen go out of the game because their helmets came off on the first snap of the game.
Strap it up. Strap it up. Hey, I like WDM's question about the DBs getting beat a lot. Press man technique or what. So a couple of weeks ago, we actually talked a little bit about technique. Sometimes we're sitting flat footed. Sometimes we're late turning. I think in general, I would say they just have to coach up these young guys a little bit more and understand. When I tell people is as good a technique that I had or I thought I had when I played at Alabama and I got to the NFL, bro, if I was just a split second late in turning on some of these wide receivers, it was over. And you're playing against high level guys like this, you can't lock your hips out
Yeah, or use the wrong hand on a jam.
Yes, which we did point out. You can't do that. So that is a technical issue. That doesn't mean it can't be fixed. It's not necessarily scheme. I'm not saying this to say that we don't have good players. That's not it. It just you have to be right and you got to be sound
Mm-hmm.
all the time, or it could turn into a big play. One small mistake, you're chasing.
Yeah, one small mistake and it might cost you 6, right? I mean, we're looking at is this the same play here? I mean, we're looking at this, and let's just say he takes a bad angle here. He's either a split second late or he's a split second too early, and he actually doesn't get his hand on the receiver. This might go for a touchdown, right? I mean, the margins are slim when you're playing high level opponents.
That's right. Okay. What's up next? Let's see. This is probably. It was kind of weird on how the film was kind of clicking like that.
Yeah.
This must be the running play. My man, Etienne. We talk about running here to the left.
Yep, off tackle.
Again, you don't know. Like you said, the percentages are pretty high up here, but they watch this thing down. Go ahead.
What we should point out is that at this point of the game, 71 is not in there. That's a new tackle.
Yes.
And kind of doesn't matter.
No, and especially when you got a good running back like this.
Mm-hmm.
I wanted to see his burst and actually how he makes this guy miss. He's just slippery. I don't know, that's a term that we can use. I mean, he finds a hole, he jumps past this dude, and he gets down. But that's a super athletic kind of play. And he's fast too now. This guy can get it. So
yeah, you got to ask number one where his ankles are.
Yes. So, you got to have people running to the ball. You can't. They slanted left. It's a great call by Kirby and the gang, but this guy is a threat. So we got to be solid up front. We're going to have to disengage. So we talk about what do you do with your hands, shedding the blocks, keeping your head in the right gaps. You can't get reached. Making me thinking about the Dallas Cowboys and their lack of ability to contain or to stay.
That's the game plan, man. Just get to the edge and then profit, I guess.
Yeah. So that's a great point. But this guy ETN has a serious yards per carry average. All right. So I think we moved on to this next one again. It's the slot, man. JT. This guy they don't throw it to him. The guy at the top. But he's freaking wide open, like right now. And Beck's not even pressured out. Maybe the official's in his way and he can't see through those stripes straight down the hash, but I think he could drive that in there.
Mm-hmm.
Now,
this is more open than the other ball he just threw.
Yes, so I'm pointing that out. Just again, I'm going on the slot. So if you're asking me, what is the thing we got to make sure you got to be conscious of everybody, but you can't have slot guys doing this. They're going to be on safeties. You got to figure out, are you playing nickel? Who is that guy that's going to be covering this? How do you have a runner? Do you have a linebacker running up with him? What do? You play quarters and try to put.
Well, if you're gonna play true quarters, that's gonna be either Saab or Malachi is gonna be at the one to take this.
Yeah, and it's just. I think we got to be conscious of that. That was my kind of thing on this because he still has time. This is just a 4-man rush.
Yep. But as we kind of alluded to earlier, you got a lot of time. You dumb down to the back, and now you have to make tackles in space.
Tackle. Yep, you got to make the play.
Right.
Okay.
You can't let ETN get out here and then shake a linebacker and get loose.
Yes, they can roll. We got to have crowd noise at the doggone game. Make sure y'all are there. Yeah, I think you can put this one on there. Man, this big set, man. You got to be in the right gaps. Now, they actually run it to the other side. which this from a defensive standpoint, you got to know who has these backside gaps, and they're blitzing. Just you can't take yourself out of the play. Coach of Kentucky right now, that guy coming off the edge who just runs past the play. He's trying not to get hit by 73.
Yeah, I mean, and that's
there's a window.
pretty good right there.
Yep. And lucky he stepped out of bounds because it actually goes over and hurdles over this safety a little bit, and then it looks like a touchdown, but they caught him out of bounds. Right there. Right there, as a matter of fact. So you got to be. We just got to be solid, man, everywhere. And that's why I love this challenge, because if there's a game where you're going to find out where we're really at, what kind of team we are, this is going to be the one. Because you're playing a dang good football team, and this is going to say a lot about DeBoer and how does he have these guys ready to play? Can they withstand all of this? What about the pressures of the game? We've seen it in other games, but this is a team that I don't know that you can just let them hang around all game. Where we were with Central Florida or South Florida knows, and it's a tight ball game, then you kind of take off a little later. I don't know that that's going to happen. You're going to have to play 4 quarters.
Mm-hmm.
These guys.
And we gotta be disciplined. So if this is our guy, if this is our defensive tackle, get him on the screen right here. It's gonna be our guy. Know what your job is. Your job is dive. Your job is not him. You look how big you are, man. Even if they gave this dude, if they give this dude the ball, you're not catching him.
You ain't catching him.
Just take the dive. Just take the dive.
Skirt. Yep. So they're powerful up there. Strength is in that line for sure, and we're gonna have to play. So, do we have 3-man front? Are we playing a 4-man front? Is really gonna, it's gonna be. Are they gonna have that linebacker really close up in there? Okay, so this is one of the things that I tease on Twitter and everything else. And it's really, I want to talk about the defense on this more than anything. Now, Carson gets out and, makes a play, but I want to talk about this defensive play. Okay, so go ahead and get it to where they're lined up. So in basketball, we're always talking about the pick and roll. Just stop it right there for a second. Okay, and this is a very high-level defense that they actually run here. So who I want you to highlight is the guy right inside of
the
73. No, right inside of
73.
73
4I.
on defense. Yes, him. So what they run here is absolutely fabulous, JT. So this is what I'm just calling it a pick and roll. We call it a pick play. In the pros and everything else. No, he's actually going to pick 73. So he smashes into him, and there's a guy that's going to be looping around him. The guy to his right.
Oh, so he's going to be out here?
No. He's going to hit the 7.
Oh, okay.
The guy inside of him is going to loop around his outside of him. But 70, the guy that went in straight is going to roll or fall back into the quarterback. Right? So he's creating a little bit of space so 56 can't get him when they try to. It's the other guy from the outside. So you see where he actually runs into 73. 73 is trying to now he wants to try to come back to pick up this outside guy, but he can't. And we're already inside of him. Now he misses a tackle, but this is a fabulous play. This is what they try to teach Michael Parsons and all those guys to be able to do that, to create this pressure. I love this. I know you're going to try to put it in on your defense or whatever.
We're not that good.
But you can run it against guards, anybody that has to loop and try to do some things. So when we're talking about pick plays, I don't think they talk about this enough as analysts on TV, but that is good stuff. I haven't seen that out of Alabama's defense yet. I don't know that they're going to try to steal that, but it's something that you can teach and tease and try to put into it. So that's why I put that in here. One, to give you the education of what a pick play actually looks like, because you're like, what, man, why he just run into him? Well, it's just enough to throw him on
creating
so
space.
Ball back in. Yes. So nice job, but good job by Beck getting out. And I don't know who he's throwing the ball to. Maybe we get a free pick out of that. Okay. I think we got one more play.
Yeah, well, at least. Now this is
y'all
it.
for
This is the
hanging
last
here.
one.
Okay. This is not necessary to slot, but they kind of switch, so he ends up being in the slot. It's my last time talking about the slot. Cover the damn slot, man. Right? So are we switching? Is this going to be a safety on him? What is it? It could be a zone like this. You got to get in the space, but he finds him again. So we're talking about running left. I'm talking about covering these slots. I think those are two things we're going to have to be good at, right?
Yep. And this dude breaks the cardinal rule. If you're going to go for the ball, you better get it.
Better get it.
Because if you just dive on the ground, you're giving up free yards.
Hey everybody, George Teague here, formerly of the Alabama Crimson Tide and the Dallas Cowboys. So let me ask you a question. Are you an athlete or a coach looking to boost your online visibility? Well, you've got to check out On3. Their personalized web pages amplify the total you on and off the field. Whether you want to grow your visibility, build your brand, or simply show the world who you truly are, On3 is here for you. They showcase the complete person, celebrating your passions, perseverance, and the pursuit of excellence beyond sports. These web pages are the ultimate digital hub to elevate your brand and highlight your journey. So head on over to www.on3.io/microsites and get started with On3 today.